Hi, I'm Pat Miletich, and welcome to this video called Striking Strategies. When it comes to being a good striker, it doesn't mean that you can punch and kick well only. It means that you can control distance, control timing, that you have great footwork, you have great rhythm. So in this video, I'm going to try and teach you the building blocks of controlling a fight and a lot of little tricks as far as controlling distance, timing, rhythm, and all those types of things that are so important in a fight, whether it's offense, defense, counters. So there's a lot that's going to be covered in this, and I think you'll come out the other side of this video series having a lot more knowledge and being a better striker. All right, I'm going to start with footwork. Footwork, everybody will tell you, if they know what they're talking about, will let you know that footwork is the most important part of striking. If you don't have good footwork, you don't have good punching, you don't have good movement, you won't have good head movement, anything like that. So footwork is the most important. I remember when I was a little kid watching fights like Ali and Frazier. My dad would say, don't look at their hands, look at their feet. My dad was a football coach. He understood footwork and how important it was. So that right away made an impression on me to have quick feet. The main thing with striking and footwork is that your feet and hands are timed together. Striking has a rhythm. If you don't understand rhythm, you might want to rent some R&B or something and listen to it, because a lot of people have trouble with rhythm. If you don't get rhythm, you're not going to be that good of a striker. So when you're practicing these drills, you want to act like there's a rope tied from your wrist to that side ankle. So when I jab, it pulls my foot with me. I don't want to leave this foot behind me though, I have to bring it up. A lot of people in boxing will teach you step, drag, step, drag, step, drag. And then when they go backwards, they step, drag, step, drag. That creates a lazy leg no matter which way you're going, and it doesn't create a fast mover. So really what you want to do is when you step, I always want to be on the balls of my feet. So when I throw my jab, right after this foot touches with my lead hand, my lead foot touches, the rear foot's got to come up underneath me right away, like this. So it's quick feet, like this. So that'll create faster hands. The faster your feet move, the faster your hands will be. In slow motion, it's like this when you throw the jab. So I'm always on my feet, or my feet are always underneath my shoulders. I'm able to move out of the way easily if I need to, step angles, and get out of the way easy because my feet are always underneath me. I never want to throw a punch like this, get extended, and try and reach with the cross. Even if I land with my cross, there's not going to be a lot of power, and I can't get out of the way of his counters at all. And I know this is very basic stuff, but if you don't have this, you're not going to be successful. So this is my forward jab footwork, step, step. And when I go backwards and jab, a lot of people just throw punches and slide backwards. There's no power in that. I've got to be able to feint, lean, get out of the way of punches, and this foot knocks this foot out of the way, like this, so that my body weight comes back forward, and I hit with my jab when I come back. So it's forward, 1-2 with my feet, 1-2, 1-2, backwards, pop, pop, pop. And that's just fundamental footwork that you have to do any of the rest of this tape. All right, moving on to footwork as it pertains to both hands moving at the same time. We previously worked on just the footwork with the jab so that you can move correctly with that. Now we're gonna have a rope tied from each wrist to that side ankle. You wanna be on the balls of your feet. And when I throw my punch with my left hand again, left foot steps, then I throw my cross, the right foot steps. My feet always dig in right before I make impact, and I dig it in and turn the hip and drive. So you always want to think when you're striking, it's a lightning bolt starting in your foot, going up through your leg, and then out the end of your arm. That's how you develop power. That's why boxers, retired boxers that have a beer gut and skinny arms, can knock people out easily because they biomechanically know how to punch. And that's really how it's done. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It's how you move your body, how you deliver the power through your legs and your hips. So when you throw these punches, it's a great drill for you to understand the timing and the rhythm of striking, where it's lead hand, rear hand. And when I do this, when I teach people, when they first start doing this, they say lead foot, rear foot, lead, rear, left foot, right foot, right foot. Then I move backwards the same way so that I understand I can move forward and backwards at any time. Nobody's gonna stand still while you punch. So I've got to be able to retreat and punch, and I've got to be able to go forward and punch. So that'll teach you the rhythm of striking using both hands, both feet, timing them together, and then you'll be able to go on to more complex things with footwork. All right, now continuing on with footwork, using both hands, making sure that your feet are timed with your hands. We already worked on moving linear movements forward and backwards. Now you've got to be able to move left and right at the same time. While you're punching, like we said, nobody's going to stand still while you're punching. And I'm certainly not wanting to stand still myself. So when we're throwing those punches, going straight forward and straight backwards, obviously people are going to try and cut angles. So I've got to be able to, with that same timing with my feet, and I can even do this on a heavy bag, nice and light, so I understand that timing and that rhythm between my hands and feet. Then I can move to my right, I can move to my left, I can throw any punches I want to while I'm moving in any direction, timing my feet together with my hands. So it's practice going right, practice going left, going forward, and backwards, so you understand how to move any direction you want to at any given time. That'll help you a lot with your rhythm, your movement, and your angles. All right, moving on with footwork. Now we're gonna do what I call the 1, 2, 3 drill. It's a jab, cross, hook is all it is. But it teaches you how to move your feet, again, correctly, timing them with your hands. So we've already worked on the 1, 2. When you throw your hook, a lot of people have a tendency to step this way when they throw a hook. It's really kind of the worst thing that you can do. It's like swinging a baseball bat and jumping backwards. I'm taking power off of my hook. So if I'm lined up in front of somebody and I'm gonna throw a hook, my foot's not gonna go this way away from them. It's gonna go into them, between their legs almost, when I throw the hook. So that way I'm driving my power through my opponent. So when you do this footwork, you're gonna throw the 1, 2, 3, jab, cross, hook. So it's 1, 2, 3, and I pop back out. 1, 2, 3, okay? 1, 2, 3, and back. So when I'm going backwards, same thing. 1, 2, 3. Forward, 1, 2, 3, and backwards. Jab, cross, hook. So that way I'm able to move while he's attacking. If I need to create space, controlling distance is very important in a fight. So when somebody attacks and I want to move backwards, I move backwards, get out of the way of his initial attack, pop him while I'm moving backwards and he's attacking. It's really important to be able to know this footwork. 1, 2, 3. I'm disappearing on him like this, or I'm attacking and moving forward, okay? So just remember, practice this footwork slow, going forward, pop, 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 come back to center so that you can move your head if you need to, and then backwards. 1, 2, 3, and then I'm back to center. So practice that footwork. That'll help you a lot with some of the more advanced stuff you're gonna have to do with your footwork. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on some more footwork. I see a lot of people that do Muay Thai footwork like this in terms of knees. They'll throw a knee, they'll skip, they'll knee, they'll skip, they'll knee, they'll skip, and that's okay to use. You're reloading the knees for power. Okay, that's the basic of the basic. That's like what I teach, what I would teach the girls in the cardio kickboxing class, all right? But the real way that you're supposed to develop power on those knees is I'm gonna throw the knee, and then it's 1, 2, 3. See how I force back into them? 1, 2, 3. You can see my momentum. On the 2-step, 1, 2, I drive in and hit. So when I'm going across, it's hit, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can see how that generates more power going into them. Much more violent knees, a lot more power. So again, it's hit, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. And when I have a partner and I'm drilling it, Chuck comes out and I show you with him. Obviously, I'm not gonna knee him hard, but I wanna be able to move him, all right? So I hit the knee, 1, see how we move, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, then the knee. 1, 2, 3. See how I'm driving him backwards. So I turn him, hit. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that is really the proper footwork that you want to use when you're throwing knees in a fight. Now remember, when you throw punches, you have to time your feet, your footwork with your hands. So learning that timing is very important. An easy way to do that when you're by yourself, you don't have a workout partner, somebody to hold pads for you, is just simply on the heavy bag. I can move forward and backwards on this. I still want to maintain, when the bag starts pushing back into me after I go forward, I understand that it's pushing me backwards. It's just like somebody's moving in on me, attacking me, so I'm going to move my feet backwards. So remember, your ropes are tied from each wrist to that side ankle. So it's left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, and then I can move backwards, move forward, backwards, and this is something you don't have to do fast to get that timing ingrained, muscle memory, and just to understand how the feet dig in right when the punches hit to deliver the power. All right, so I'm moving forward, backwards. Then I have to be able to move laterally. Moving to my left, moving back to my right. And this is something I like to do as a warm-up drill, get my timing correct. So that drill in a heavy bag, forward, backwards, laterally, will teach you how to move correctly and get your timing correct with your feet and your hands. Now we're going to work on that 1, 2, 3 drill with the footwork, with the jab, cross, hook. Remember, I want to be able to time my feet and hands together. So it's jab, cross, hook. You can see how my foot moves in, lines up with the bag. If I do it from behind it, and you watch my feet, jab, cross, hook, and the foot will slide in towards the center of the bag. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm not even interested in doing this with power at all. It's all about the timing and understanding. Later when you put adrenaline with it, whether you're sparring hard, fighting, whatever, hey, you can hit it harder, but it's more about the touch, the feel, the understanding of the timing. Tap, 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 and back out. Tap, tap, tap. And all of this goes in with your Muay Thai, your boxing footwork. It all ties together. If I wanted to throw, if I wanted to get off to the side after that, 1, 2, 3, step, I pivot. Now I'm ready for my attack. Again, that's tap, 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 step, pivot. Now I'm outside of him. If I want to step that angle and not pivot, tap, 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 step, there's my kick. So all that stuff blends together. It doesn't matter whether you're doing Muay Thai, boxing, it's all the same footwork. So remember, it's step, 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 and back to center, okay? All right, now I'm going to explain stances to you. There are a lot of different stances in combatives. Just for instance, in boxing, a lot of times boxers will use a more sideways stance where they lean off and they can protect themselves easily with their lead shoulder, drop this shoulder, cover for hooks, let crosses slip off the shoulder, things like that. They don't have to worry about their legs. They don't have to worry about low kicks. They don't have to worry about takedowns. So that's why they do this. Some boxers will be more square, like Oscar De La Hoya. Other guys like Bernard Hopkins will slide off to the side more, be a little more elusive. So it depends on the type of boxer they are. Then when it comes to Muay Thai is always here. They don't have a lot of great footwork. They stand in front of each other, trade kicks, really very basic boxing for the most part. Some Muay Thai guys have good boxing skills, but for the most part it's just stand in front of each other, trade kicks, trade knees, trade elbows. So there's not a lot of angles in Muay Thai. Then in wrestling, it's a much more crouched stance, obviously. Depends on the style of wrestler. But generally, you know, the lead arm down, protecting the lead leg. So you've got to find, when it comes to MMA fighting or even a street type situation, you've got to find a happy medium between all of those. So I've always liked to where I don't have my back foot turned too much like a boxer will. I like to have my foot about at a 45-degree angle. I stay on the balls of my feet. This way I'm squared up. I can deal with punches pretty well. I can move my feet easily, cut angles. I can deal with kicks, defending against kicks, get out of the way of front kicks, whatever it is I'm doing. And I can also deal with takedowns, takedown attempts. So my hips are pretty mobile. So you've got to find that happy medium that works for you, but I've found over the years that a stance where your feet are basically under your shoulders, a good athletic stance. Keep your knees bent, 45-degree angle on the back foot, hands here. Very simple boxing, and that'll help you a lot, I think, to deal with all the attacks that can happen in MMA. You really don't want to turn too sideways. You don't want to be too stationary, and you don't want to be down too low so you're not getting kicked in the head. So you got to find something halfway in between all of them. All right, now when you're fighting, whether, like I say, it's street situation, MMA, whatever it is, there's certain ways that you need to keep your upper body also, not just when it comes to stance. You know, with an athletic stance, just remember, going back to the legs just briefly, there's no sport I can do on straight legs. You see a lot of guys when they're sparring, they get tired and they lock their knees. Well, I can't be mobile like this, and I have no power with my punches, I have no agility. So you've got to remember to keep your knees bent so that you've got springs underneath you. You can explode into people, you can explode away from them. So that's really important. A lot of people forget that, just something that simple. But when it comes to your upper body, you know, there's a reason people say elbows in, chin down, keep your shoulders up, and protect yourself. And I'll explain why. So just on the subject of elbows out, if Chuck's in a fighting stance and he has his elbows out, what happens is, if I turn him this way, is he gives me every punch that I would ever want to throw. It's like a striking buffet. I can come over the top very easy. I can come through the middle. Uppercuts are there. Kicks to the body. Everything is there just by simply doing that. So what happens is when you leave openings in striking with especially an experienced person or somebody who simply just hits hard, they get one through, now you're chasing punches and you're getting yourself worse out of position every time, and it's a downward spiral. So by Chuck simply keeping his elbows in, tucking his chin here, it makes it easy for him to cover if a punch is coming and protect himself. It makes it easy for him to protect his body when punches and kicks are coming into the body. So something that simple of keeping your elbows in is going to save your life. All right, now you hear a lot of coaches saying chin down, chin down, chin down. It's amazing that fighters, even really good professional fighters, can't understand this. And just by simply doing this and keeping my chin down, obviously protects my vulnerable areas of my head. But it's more than that. You know, your forehead is made to take abuse. It just is. So if somebody throws a punch and I can't get out of the way, I'm going to use my forehead and let them hit it. A lot of times the punches will glance off at angles and it won't stick me directly. But your forehead's made to take abuse, so remember that. If you have to take something, take it off the forehead. Another thing, when I am throwing punches, I want to make sure that my chin stays down. A lot of people will, especially when they're fighting a taller person, will throw punches like this and lift their chin because in their head, they're visualizing that it makes their reach longer. So I want to show something to you, give you a little demonstration. So I want Chuck to stand up as tall as he can, straight-legged as he can, stick his chin up, whatever he's got to do, and stick your left arm out as far as you can. Rotate your body as far as you can, Chuck. All right? So now what I want you to do is just put your chin down. Now I want you to bend your knees a little bit. Keep bending your knees. Keep going. Keep going. Did your reach change at all? No, it didn't. So you see, now he's good defensively. He's protecting himself on this side of his head. His chin's down, so if any punches come this way, he's protected. So he right now is down in a little hole with his head protected. I don't hurt him on this side, I don't hurt him on this side, and his reach is not changed by being good technically on his defense. So remember that, chin down, legs bent, and it'll really keep you safe. A lot of guys, I see them get knocked out, they'll throw a punch, their chin will go up when they're reaching, and boom, they get caught with something coming over the top or across, and they go to sleep. It's just fundamentally very bad mechanics to do that, very dangerous for you to do that, and you take a lot of power off your punches also. Real quick, when Chuck lifts his chin when he punches, you can see his head goes backwards, all right? When I'm riding a horse, if I want it to stop, I'm gonna pull on the reins. Its head lifts up and it stops. It's the same thing he's doing to himself. When he does that, he takes a lot of power off of his punch. So if Chuck visualizes that he's gonna put his forehead through a wall right here, and he comes forward with all his body weight and steps, now he's putting all his body weight into just simply a jab, which is gonna have a lot of power. If I get hurt by his jab, trust me, I'm afraid of everything else he's got. So remember that with the chin down, very fundamentally sound, and keep you awake. Now we're going to work on head movement. Head movement is very important. I can't stress enough how important head movement is. If you want to be able to spell your name when you're older, you have to move your head, all right? So the main thing is there's different types of head movement. First one I'm going to show you is just leaning off center, all right? I can lean off center going forward like this. So I go here. Or I can lean off center going backwards, depending on what type of attack my opponent's using. So I'm going forward, right? Or backwards, 45s, all right? So it's really important that you remember those different 45 angles forward. So if my partner Chuck is throwing a jab at me and I want to go forward because I want to, here's the whole idea. When he throws his jab, if I lean in close on a 45, he has less time to get out of the way of my counter. I've shrank the space between us so I can counter quicker, all right? So that's my outside 45-degree angle here. The less he hits, or the less he misses me by, the better. If I lean this far outside and Chuck misses me by that much, he can see the counter coming back. So I would prefer that the punch glide, almost skim along my head when I do my lean, so he can't get out of the way, doesn't see my counter coming. So that's my forward lean to the outside. He throws the jab here, I lean inside. Now I can attack here right away. Also, I can attack over the top, I can do whatever I want. So when Chuck throws a jab, I lean here, throws a jab, lean here. So I want you to understand that it's okay to move your head forward while you lean off center. So this is a very good drill to practice and get comfortable in close, working your forward and backwards. So he throws it. Now I'm moving off 45s. All right, so now you can do both of those. It's very easy to do. It's a good drill to do. Get good at it. We started out our head movement with our 45-degree angle slips, our leans in and our leans out at 45-degree angles, depending on what we want to do to counter. But the head movement is very important, obviously. Now we're going to work on going underneath punches, all right? This is the basic of the basic stuff, but it's the most important stuff. If I don't know the basics, if I can't build a foundation, I can't build a nice house on top of it. So it's really important for you to understand, to really develop this stuff to where you can do it in your sleep, all right? So now we're working on going underneath punches. So literally all your partner has to do is this, so that you get in the habit of going underneath, and notice how the rotation of my body is what moves my head. I don't do this. You see people act like they're going under limbo sticks when they're doing a head movement. It's real simple. Change level, pivot on the balls of the feet. Go down, pivot on the balls of the feet, okay? So left hook comes, I drop, I turn. Right hand's coming, underneath. Notice the side I'm going to, when I move to this side, this hand's gonna come up. I go underneath, that hand's up, because I don't wanna move into something and get hurt. Here comes the next one, hands up. So I just go back and forth like that. It's something, I mean, I've been doing this for forever, almost as long as I've been alive. And I still practice that stuff to make sure that I'm sharp so I don't get hit and I don't get hurt. Make sure you do it too. Now when we're working our head movement, it can be used for several reasons. One, to get out of the way. Two, to set up punches. Three, to pull technique out of the guy that I'm fighting or sparring with. Or a lot of times it makes them so nervous the way you're moving your head that it shuts them down and makes them clam up. So there's a lot of different results I can get out of this. But just so you understand, when we're doing our leans to the side, when I lean left, Chuck thinks my left hand's coming. When I lean right, Chuck thinks my right hand is coming. So when I throw a punch, just for instance, if I throw a jab and I lean this way, Chuck thinks that I'm either going to go to the body, the head, whatever, with my lead hand. So I'm going to automatically try and do 2 or 3 of those every once in a while to confuse him, get him scared, make him flinch, maybe throw a punch and miss me and leave himself wide open. So I'm going to throw my jab, I'm going to lean left, then I'm going to lean right, then I'm coming with the cross. So it's jab, lean, lean, and there it is. Here it is again, jab, lean, lean, cross. I can throw any right-handed technique. If I want to, I can go jab, lean, lean, kick. Doesn't matter, I'm confusing him with my head movement. Going back the other way, say I throw a cross, boom, I lean back this way. It looks like I'm throwing another cross or an overhand right. All right, I could be coming with anything back on that right side. Throw the cross, lean. It's not gonna be this hand though. Then I lean here, and then I come with the left. So it leaves him wide open a lot of times and get a lot of damage. Hit him with shots he doesn't see coming, and that's what hurts it. So again, cross, lean, lean, boom. Cross, lean, lean. So if Chuck happens to be throwing something back, understand that I might throw that right hand right away again. So if I throw a cross and lean outside and he misses with a jab, yeah, I'm gonna throw it again. Okay, because it's there, he opened up, and I saw that happening, and I saw my opening. So it's not dictated that I have to go here, 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 and then throw the left hand. It could be 3 of them. I could go here, move once, move twice, move 3 times, and then I'm gonna come with the cross. So all this stuff works with any punches that I finish with. I'm always gonna lean back, for now, to the side that I finish with. If I finish with my left hand, I lean to that side, then I'm back here, boom. So as a drill, I want you to practice jab, lean, lean, cross. Cross, lean, lean, hook. 1, 2, 3, lean, lean, cross, or uppercut, or overhand, or kick, whatever you want to do, but that's important for you. It'll also help your rhythm a lot, and then we've got to be able to do this moving. When I throw a punch at Chuck, when I throw my jab, is he gonna stay there? Maybe, maybe not. So I throw my jab, I touch him with it, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but he's gonna move back, okay? He moves back even more than that. So I've thrown my jab, I lean here. If I just stay here, I'm never gonna touch him with my next technique. So I throw my jab here, I bring my feet forward. He's still moving back, I bring my feet forward. And then I throw the punch, and I step with the punch so I can reach him. So all the way through that, while he's moving backwards, I throw my jab, lean, lean, boom. There it is. So practice that moving and stationary. Probably stationary first so you get that rhythm, and then the moving. So I step on the jab, both feet move in here, both feet move in here, and I can keep going across the floor. The side I lean to, my hand is up on that side. I can go backwards, and then finish. All right, so work on that, that'll help you a lot. All right, now we're gonna work on feints and fakes. It's really one of the most underused tools in striking, in mixed martial arts, in any type of combative situation, is feints and fakes, but I think it's one of the most important. I've got to use feints and fakes to keep my opponent off balance so that he doesn't really know when he's gonna be attacked. He's always nervous, and he's always off balance, so it's really important. Also, using feints and fakes draws techniques out of my opponent so that he opens himself up to my counters. When he actually thinks he's countering something he thinks is real, but it's not, so I'm setting him up for the counter. So it's really important to do that. The first one we're gonna do though is a fake jab. I see a lot of people in fights that'll fake a jab just by moving their arm. That doesn't convince him, that doesn't signal his brain that a real technique is coming. When I throw a real jab, Chuck, go ahead and cover up for a second. When I throw a real jab and I hit Chuck, my whole body moves forward like I'm stepping downhill. So all my body weight goes into it and I hit. So really, my fake has to look exactly the same. So when I throw a fake jab, all my body weight comes forward and my punch will almost hit him. So it has to really simulate a real jab that's gonna hit him. So when I do that, he's gonna react in different ways, whether he's gonna just cover up. So I see how he moves, where the openings are. He may, when he sees a fake, he may counter with a cross. and I get out of the way, and then I'm able to counter him. So I'm gonna throw a fake jab, and then I'm just gonna move on to a real jab right afterward. So you can see how it sets him up, okay? So I throw the fake, and then the real one hits. Notice how I don't pull the hand all the way back and then throw a jab again. Really important, because then he knows it was a fake. So it changes the timing. So I fake to here, and then I just push the jab in. Again, a little quicker, here, and then in. Go ahead and cover up, I'll hit your gloves, Chuck. So I fake, and then push the punch in. And you can see how that throws his timing off. All right, now we're going to continue working on our feints and fakes, but one thing you've got to understand is that I've got to first establish that he respects my power. I have to sting him with something for him to be a little nervous about my technique. So I've got to have a good jab to begin with. Once I establish a good jab, then I can fake the jab, then he's nervous about it, and then I'm able to open up with other techniques. And that kind of starts a downward spiral for him. So we just got done working on the fake jab to a jab. So now he respects the jab, he's nervous about the jab, it's stinging him, maybe cutting him up, whatever that may be. So now I'm gonna follow up with the cross. Some people will tend to lean a certain way when you throw a jab at them, or a punch, whatever punch it is. So I have to test the waters with that jab and that fake jab. Once I do that, and I figure out where his tendency is to lean, so I fake the jab, and I see where he leans, so I'm not gonna punch where his head was, I'm gonna punch where I think his head's gonna be. That's something that when you go to the next level of striking, you have to think about. Because when you're up against people that know how to move their head's never gonna be in the same place twice. So, I throw the fake jab, I see where his head moves, okay? I can throw it there if I'm quick enough when I see him move, or I'm just guessing. So I see he's moved there twice, now I'm gonna fake the jab and just throw the cross to where I think his head's gonna go. And it hits. Okay, so this is really important to let him move into the punch. All right, I'll do it again. Fake the jab, and then I go straight to where I think his head's gonna go. So that's a fake jab to the cross. Everything that we're doing is to keep our opponent off balance. We can't do the same fake and then follow up with the opposite hand, or fake a jab and throw a jab over and over and over, because they'll basically figure out what we're doing. So we've got to change our attack after that initial fake. So now I'm gonna fake my jab. We've gone from fake jab to jab, fake jab to cross. Now we're gonna go fake jab to a lead hook. A lot of times people will block the jab out in front, where you can wrap around their arms and get to their head easily. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fake the jab. The punch stops where it was. I twist my body. That brings my hand out around his glove, and then I come in with the hook. So I'm gonna do it a little quicker. Chuck will cover up so he doesn't get clipped with something. I fake the jab, and then bring it around. Jab, okay, a little quicker. Okay, so it's not that much motion. I don't wanna go here, bring it all the way back and twist, because he knows the fake's done, he sees the hook coming. I want it to go to here, and twist and hit. All right, one more time. Just like that. That's your fake jab to a hook. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the fake jab onto your lead uppercut. So I wanna, again, the jab almost gets to my opponent. All my body weight. I wanna sell the punch. Once I get to here, all I'm doing is tilting my left shoulder down, my lead shoulder. From here, the punch leaves. A lot of people think that throwing an uppercut is like this. That's not an uppercut, obviously. It's a lot more time to get it there. He sees it coming, he can defend it or counter and hit me, so I don't want that. So I get the jab almost to him, tilt my body, and then the punch simply comes into the target. So it's here, drop, and hit. Here, drop, and hit. Sometimes uppercuts are obviously gonna knock people out. I don't want him to see this punch, that'll hurt him. But more than anything, I'm gonna be following up with combinations after my fakes. Once I fake that jab and I tilt, I want this to hit his chin. I want it to lift his head. That's all I'm trying to do, because then I'm gonna follow up with heavier shots right after that, once I lift his chin and make him more vulnerable. So that's really what this technique is all about. One more time. Fake the jab, drop the shoulder, and hit. Then I can follow up. So that's your fake jab to your lead uppercut. All right, now moving on from the fake jab to the rear uppercut. This is a little heavier punch, obviously, and I want to do more damage with it. Because it is my rear side, I can put a little more force into it. But you get a lot of people that once you start jabbing, some people will tend to do this and put their head down and try and block it with their forehead if they can't get out of the way. They can't figure out the timing of your jab. One, because it's quick, and two, because you're using a lot of feints and fakes. So once I figure out that he's been ducking his head like this and kind of making a catcher's mitt for my uppercuts, then I'm gonna move on to those. So I fake the jab, but on this one I want to glide in more than anything else. It's almost like there's a little ditch right here with water in it. I'm almost hopping over it as I glide in on my fake jab. So I always want to lead with my hand, not my face though. So the imaginary ditch right here with water in it, I glide over it, and once I get to where I can touch him, that's when the shoulder drops and I'll bring that uppercut in. So I hop in, and then the uppercut hits. I'll throw it a little quicker now. Chuck, make sure you catch it. Okay, so that's your fake jab to your rear uppercut now. All right, now we've covered the basics of using your fake jab to move on to other punches, whether it's even the jab, the cross, the hook, the uppercuts. But we haven't even mentioned the lower half of our body using our kicks set up by the fake jab. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Real simple. When I throw a kick after a fake punch, I wanna step an angle when I fake. When I wanna throw a fake jab to a jab, I'm gonna be stepping straight ahead. Linear attack. When I'm gonna throw a kick, I always want my toes pointing the direction I'm kicking. My kick's gonna travel at a 45-degree angle, so my toes are gonna point at a 45-degree angle when I do that. So when I fake my jab, I might even throw two fake jabs where I step straight in on the first one and then step off the angle on the second one, and that enables me to drop the kick in, okay? So these are always something, and remember, you always wanna use your fakes from a distance where I can't touch him. All right, if I'm using fakes here where he can touch me, we're already throwing punches at each other, so don't practice where you're too close to your opponent. So I'm gonna start this out here where I fake the jab, you can see my second step, and then I'm gonna turn my foot and throw the kick. So I've stepped off center. Another thing when I'm doing all of this, the reason I'm moving off center is so that if a punch comes at me, it's gonna miss. I don't wanna throw a kick and stand straight in front of him and get ripped off my feet with a cross, okay? So again, jab, jab, step the angle, and kick. I'll do it with one jab now. So I step and kick. There's my angle, and there's my kick. So he expected the punch, now he's taking low kicks. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the fake jab with the lead leg kick. When I do this, I like to use my fake jab or even my real jab, whatever it may be, as a distraction. That's my camouflage for what my lower body's doing. So I'm gonna throw my fake jab and I skip at the same time. You can see how Chuck reacts by covering up because he expects the jab. He doesn't see what's going on down below a lot of times. So I throw the fake jab and I skip at the same time. A lot of openings here. I can go to the inside leg, rear of the back leg. The liver kick, the liver's on the right side of the body, always kicks to the liver, hurt. Or I can go to the head if I see the openings. Usually though, I'll keep my kicks lower. So I fake the jab and skip. You can see how my toes are pointing to 45, and I can throw the kick to the inside of the lead leg. After that kick touches, I can follow up with a full combo, more kicks if I want to because he's off mallets. And also, the fakes keep them one step behind you. They're always trying to catch up. That gets people tired. So I throw the fake jab and I skip at the same time, and there's my kick. I can go to the back leg, fake, drop the kick into the back leg, go to the liver, here, try and knock the wind out of him a little bit. So using that fake jab with the skip to load my leg helps to get that off, and I have a little more power because my leg is now behind me before I land that kick. All right, so now once we've established our jab and then been able to use that as a fake to set up our other punches, and those punches land, then I can start faking other techniques to move on to other stuff. So once he respects my jab, I use that as a fake. He's nervous about my jab, I land a cross. Now my cross crunches him hard and he's hurt from the cross. Now he respects my cross. So now I can fake that to move on to any other technique I want to. So now we're gonna move on to the fake cross. So remember on the timing, and I've seen guys like Maurice Smith, who's a guy that really helped me a lot, kind of learn the ropes of pay-per-view fighting, and a very experienced kickboxer. I watched him throw a fake cross 4 times in a row. He faked, and then threw the real one and knocked the guy out. It was amazing to see, and that was when I was very young. It really made an impression on me about fakes. So what I'm gonna do is, it's the same thing as a cross. When I'm gonna throw a cross, all my power comes from my legs, my hips, my body rotation. So I'm gonna throw the cross almost all the way out so that he reacts to it, it doesn't hit, and then he opens back up. So I fake, he closes down. As he's opening back up, I'm already twisted to throw my real cross again, all right? So I twist, he closes down, hop in, boom, and there's my real cross. Again, one more time, fake, and again, fake, and your punch lands, land it clean, hopefully they go to sleep and you get paid. All right, now we're gonna go from a fake cross to a jab. When I throw the fake cross, I wanna twist my body. You can see how my body twists, okay? If I wanna follow up with a jab, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this hand back a little bit more. And by doing this, it almost turns this hand into a cross. Even though it's not behind me, I've rotated my body a lot on my fake cross. So I twist to here, and then all I've gotta do is remember to explode off of my back foot and push the jab into him. That's the real start of the combination. From there, I'm gonna throw, 3, 4, 5 more punches right away. The whole thing is I've broken his tempo, thrown off his timing, and he's not ready. Once he's one step behind and one technique hits him when he's not ready, the rest have gotta follow in succession very quickly. So I throw the cross here, and then the jab hits. So it's from here, just like that. So I'll do it a little quicker. Here, just like that. So it throws him off balance. Now his defense is thrown off. He doesn't know what's coming, and I can follow body shots, whatever I want to do from there. All right, remembering now that we have landed our cross. We've used our jab. We stuck him with the jab. We started to use the fake jab, stuck him with the cross. Now we're using the fake cross. So we've got him started on that downward spiral to him only getting his show money and not his win money. So what I'm gonna do is, again, faking the cross. When you fake a technique, not only does he give you the openings of where the next technique's gonna be, but what he's doing is he's preparing his body for impact a lot of times for straightforward. If I'm throwing a cross straight at him, he's preparing his muscles and the angle of his head to deal with that. See how Chuck will tilt his head so that when my punch hits, it'll slide off of his forehead and won't cause him a lot of damage. He's covering up in front, so a lot of times I'll hit his gloves. So he's protecting himself to take forward impact. He has not prepared himself to take anything from the side, and that's why these punches hurt so much. 1, he doesn't see it, and 2, his body is prepared for a forward impact. So that's why these things do a lot of damage to people. So I throw my fake cross here. He's dealing with that right now. Right before that punch gets to him, he won't recognize in time before he's getting hit with the hook, which will many times sting him, hurt him, or put him down. Also, it's important that you remember when I do this, when I throw this cross, I don't all the time pull this hand back to my face to protect myself. If I feel confident enough that I've got him cocooning up off my cross, I'm gonna push this hand out, almost like there's 2 magnets, 2 positive sides of a magnet, and this hand is pushing this hand out. So it's already in position to quickly attack around his glove on the other side. So I throw the fake, push this hand out, and there's my hook. It's already ready to go, and my other hands are gonna be coming right afterward to make sure he falls down. So again, one more time, to here, and there's my hook. A little quicker, here, okay? So it hits before he recognizes it's coming. All right, again, when I throw my punches and I see how somebody reacts, where their head goes to, the angle that their head moves to, that tells me what they're most vulnerable to when I throw my real techniques off the fakes. So when I've been throwing my cross, say he's been ducking his head like this again. All right, now I recognize again that he's vulnerable for the uppercuts. So when I'm gonna fake the cross, instantly, I'm dropping my left shoulder, putting my left arm in position to throw my lead uppercut. So I'm gonna do it nice and slow for you a couple times. Here, see how the shoulder drops on this side, this hand goes up, and I just feed the uppercut in. Always remember to throw, and this is really important for you to remember, always throw your uppercuts at a 45-degree angle. They come up like this, like an A-frame, off both sides. When I rotate my body, drop my shoulder, and twist to throw an uppercut, my body's at a 45-degree angle. You can see the plane of my shoulders. So when I rotate at a 45, that's how the power is delivered. If I rotate at a 45 and throw my uppercut straight up and down like most people try to teach in, a lot of different martial arts schools, I've destroyed all of my power by doing that. So my punch is going to come simply at a 45-degree angle so that my body can deliver all the power behind the bone structure of my arm. Okay, so really important that you remember. So again, the fake cross to here, then all I have to do from here is just unload, rotate, and catch the jaw. Remember, I'm trying to lift his head, and then I can follow up with more punches if I want to, a kick. All right, so now I'll do it a little bit quicker so you can see it. Cross goes out. Here, and then the uppercut hits. So remember, this is not something that I have to wind up on. I don't need to try and kill him with the first punch, lifting the head. Here, the head goes up, okay? Here, and lift the head, okay? So that's your lead uppercut off your fake cross. All right, now we're gonna move from our cross onto our rear uppercut. This one can be as devastating as you want it to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and rotate on my cross, almost get it to him, and then my feet are gonna cover the gap. Hop in. You see how I've loaded my hips? I have to do that. I can't be like this and throw a punch. So I'm gonna fake, twist, load my hips, and then the uppercut comes in. All right, so I'll do it a little quicker. Chuck, go ahead and catch it. Here, and bring the punch in. Here, okay? Cross, uppercut. So that's your fake cross into your rear uppercut. All right, we're now gonna go from a fake cross to the overhand. And the overhand right is a punch that I like a lot if you use it sparingly. It's the main thing is that I can't just keep winging bombs over and over because he figures it out. He's able to deal with those pretty easily. So I like to use it, off a fake. So I'm gonna fake my cross to here, and a lot of times you can see where Chuck's hands are in front of him. He's dealing with that forward attack. So from here, all I'm gonna do is hop in a little bit, rotate my body, and throw the hand over the top. I like to aim for the temple or right below the ear at the base of the jaw, and that tends to get pretty good results, all right? So I'm gonna fake the cross here, hop, and bring the punch around, all right? There's two ways I can hit. I can hit like this, or like this. This is the way that I usually hit, and that has kept my hands safe over the years where I don't break my hands. So I'm gonna go again, here, hop in, and now I'm covering because I'm loaded for bear. I want this one to hurt him badly. I don't want anything coming back the other way to hurt me. So I turn and hit. All right, a little quicker. Here, and hit. One more time, fake, and there's your overhand right off the fake cross. All right, now we're gonna go on to using our kicks as fakes to move on to other techniques. In a fight, usually a telltale sign of somebody being injured with a kick is that after you've hit them with a few low kicks on the quad, they start to, when they see the kick coming, picking their leg up and checking the kick, all right? So then I know I've injured his leg, all right? I know it's tender, he doesn't want to get kicked there anymore. And also, please remember, I know you have probably taken lessons already on how to kick. Do not kick with your foot, all right? When I make contact with his leg, and I'm gonna do this real slow and real light for Chuck's benefit, is that when my leg hits, I hit with the inside edge of my shin bone, all right? I don't wanna go back through a ton of basics, but please remember, if you don't kick him with your shin bone, he's never gonna pick his leg up because it doesn't hurt, because you're slapping him with your foot, okay? So we don't kick with our feet, we use our shin bones like baseball bats. So assuming that I've done that correctly, I've injured his leg, I throw a kick, he checks it. I say, now I know he's hurt. So I'm gonna fake the kick. When I throw a kick, what does my body do? Most of the time when we throw a kick, our arms move. People naturally do that, the hip, the step into the kick, all that is there, so I have to mimic that on my fake. So I'm gonna step my angle, and I twist. There's the leg. Once he picks that leg up, he's on one foot, he's mine for that moment in time. So I step, and I pivot. Here comes my hook. Here, now his leg goes down to the ground because I've shifted his weight. Now the real kick can come and I can kick as hard as I want to and damage his leg as badly as I can. So again, one more time. Step, fake the kick, hook. Then I step my angle again and drop the kick in. All right, we'll do it again. Fake, hook, kick. Fake the kick, hook, kick. And there you go. That's how to use a fake kick to make other things happen, get reactions out of your opponent. Now we're gonna go ahead and go to the lead leg fakes, all right, on the round kicks. Once I've, say, stepped an angle a couple of times, thrown across, landed the kick on his rear leg a few times. The rear leg a lot of times is easier to hurt because of the weight being redistributed when they're moving backwards and taking their weight off of it, so the muscle's soft. So a lot of times it's easier to injure the back leg. So once it's injured and I throw my kicks, he's picking up and craning. Now I know that leg's hurt, all right? So what I'm gonna do is simply just twist my hip. I have to just real quick twist and make it look like the kick's coming. So I drop here, and you can see how he's picking the leg up. Then I can throw the right hand and follow up with other combos. So I'm gonna fake the kick here, and there's my punch. And then I'm gonna follow up either with kicks, punches, whatever I wanna do, a combination of both. So one more time, fake, and there's my cross. A little quicker, fake, and there it is. So I get the reaction I want out of him. He's on one foot, he's mine for that moment in time, and I blister him with a cross. All right, now we're gonna move on to front kicks, fake front kicks. So when I wanna throw my lead leg front kick, a lot of times if I wanna go after him a little bit, I'm gonna bring my back foot up. What this does is it doesn't tell him that I'm attacking. I don't get any closer by moving my back foot up, but I have a better reach. If I'm standing back here with my foot back, I can't reach him. I don't move any closer to him, I just bring my back foot up and I can touch him. So it's that simple. It doesn't signal that I'm coming forward or setting him up, but simply just doing this makes it so that I can reach him. So what I'm gonna do is after I've hit that kick a few times, it tends to make people protect their midsection a little more. So when I throw the kick, he'll clamp his elbows in to protect his body, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna bring the back foot up, bring the knee up like I'm throwing the kick, and then I push off of my back leg and throw my jab cross. So I'm gonna bring the back leg up, hop in, and follow up with my combo. Again, back foot comes up, hop in, and throw the combo. One more time. Here, and then you land your punches, then you can move on. Deflections are a very important part of defending yourself from strikes. A lot of times even fractions of an inch can make a difference between getting hurt and being okay. And it just comes with experience. It's something you need to practice. So a lot of people are taught how to parry, all right? But they're not taught what to do after they parry, and they're not taught what position they need to be in to even be able to parry correctly. A lot of people try to parry, I think, unless it's a high-level boxer or somebody who's a very good striker. Most people understand parrying at a different level the more experience you have. So if I try to parry a punch from Chuck with my hands up here by my head, it doesn't work very well, trust me. The best athlete in the world has about a 0.4 of a second reaction time to his opponent's action. So if Chuck throws a jab, and I want Chuck to hit me with the jab here. I'm gonna try and get it with my hand next to my head. I want you to try and touch me. Go. Hit me. Okay, see how he's making contact now? He didn't know whether he should hit me or not. But it's not that tough for him. He's quick, he's young, okay? Hit me. Hit me, okay? I'm trying to figure out when his hand's coming. My hand's next to my head. I can't beat him, all right? It just doesn't give me enough space. So when you're gonna plan on parrying, your hands have to be out further. My hands have to be closer to my opponent's head and hands than his hands are to me. That gives me the advantage of distance. This is something that's very important, controlling distance with this. So When he's got his hands up, I put my hands out like this. I deliberately make a window for him to shoot through. So he thinks I'm wide open down the middle. So I open my hands up, he jabs, and it's easy for me to see it coming and stop the punch. See how my arm really doesn't move a whole lot. I don't want to do this, all right? Because I'm leaving myself open. What happens if he actually understands fake, something that we've worked on in this, and fakes a jab and throws a hook, and I go like this, and throws the hook instead of the jab. So I'm gonna get clipped on the side of the head. So my hands are up and out, he throws the jab, okay? Keep jabbing whenever you want. So you see how easy it is then for me. I'm a little bit older than Chuck, probably a little bit slower naturally, but I'm able to beat him to the punch as far as just parrying and defending myself with that. Continuing on parrying punches. Again, remember, your hands have to be out here to give you the advantage of distance, all right? Controlling distance is everything when it comes to this. Now, he's gonna throw his cross, all right? It's easy for me to, I'm always gonna have my lead hand out further than my rear hand. So his rear hand is further back, just like mine is. So most of the time that's the stance, the staggered stance of our hands. So this hand's gonna be out closer to his. So when he throws that cross, it gives me more time because this hand is further out. I feel less threatened by this one because it's further away. I have a little more time to react, so the hand can go further out to catch it, okay? So you have to imagine it's almost like, all I have to do is just barely, if you see an arrow hit a target or miss a target and glance off of something, you have to visualize that his fists are arrows, and all they have to do is hit a fence post barely and go off center and go the wrong direction. So that's kind of what you're doing to his punches. I don't have to go ahead and throw it. I don't have to do that. Remember that, it's very important. He throws it, I just tap it, just my wrist control. Oop. Okay, just barely touching it will send it off center and keep you from getting hit. Now we're gonna work parries into attacks, attacking when our opponent attacks us. So we've used basically head movement and footwork to attack when our opponent attacks us. Now say I'm tired, I don't wanna move my head, all right? Now I'm not gonna move my head, I'm gonna parry his punches and I'm gonna attack at the same time. We do drills, and I want you to practice these drills at home with a partner or at the gym or wherever you can practice them at. When my partner throws his jab, I first obviously have to get the timing and the understanding of the parry. Remember, your hands are out here. He throws the jab, I parry. Because my hands are closer to him than his are to me, I can still usually hit him quicker than he can hit me also. So I want to attack when he attacks, take advantage of it. So right when he throws his jab, I parry and I jab at the same time. Okay, so I just quickly flick that jab out there. Now he's thinking to himself, every time I throw something, I'm getting blistered with a quick shot, all right? So he throws his jab, boom. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for a drill a lot until I can get the timing. I can do that to almost anybody out there. So before, we parried our opponent's jab and jabbed at the same time, all right? So we did this, boom, and hit. All right, great way to do it, a great way to intimidate our opponent. But now I want to be a little more ruthless. I want to put some hurt on him. So I'm going to use my cross. I'm going to parry with that hand, and then I'm going to hit him with the cross. I try to practice this slowly at first. You got to be careful when you do this so you don't hurt people when you're drilling it. All right, so the punch comes in, I parry. And the punch continues because I twist my hip from there. So watch it in slow motion, I parry, and then my hip rotates and throws the punch. So I'll do it a little bit quicker now. So it's almost like a rock skipping off of water straight into his head. This almost gives me a direct line, so when the punch comes, I just follow his arm in. And you can notice our arms are making friction the whole way in, and that'll take me straight to his jaw a lot of times. A little quicker, here. And you can see how easily you can get to him just off the parry. Continuing to parry the jab. My favorite combination, I want you to practice this because you want to get to this point. First we worked on parrying the jab, throwing our jab. Then we parried the jab straight to our cross. We can follow up with, if we want to, we can go cross hook, cross hook, rear leg kick, whatever you want to do. But this is for some reason, a good way to help you with your speed, your coordination, hand-eye, everything. So I'm gonna parry and I'm gonna throw my 1, 2, 3. I want you to be quick, I want you to do that a lot. So I parry, and there's my 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I'm not trying to hit Chuck hard. I want to have enough sense and touch that I can get my hands to him and not hurt him right now. All right? All right? So see how I'm just touching lightly? Jab, cross, hook. So I'm attacking when he attacks, getting that quick punch off. I'm not faster than him. I've just got a little more experience than him, and I've practiced this a little more than him, hopefully. And I'm gonna win the fight that way. So we've worked on parrying the lead side arm, their jab. Now we're gonna parry their cross. It's a little easier to see coming. They twist their body. Jab's a little easier to get off quickly. So when I see the body twisting, it's easy to catch it coming, all right? So he does that, and then the jab comes right in over the top of that cross. Tap, touch. Tap, touch. So when I parry, and I step for the jab. Parry, step. A little quicker. And you can see how that gets him off his rhythm. Parrying his cross and attacking when he attacks. Good way to shut somebody down when they think they've got a lot of power in their hand, but they can't hit you, it doesn't matter. Not only do we have to be able to parry one hand at a time, but obviously our opponent's not gonna just throw one punch at a time, so we need to be ready for more than one punch. So I want you to work on, just for now, starting out with the jab cross. Remember, your hands have to be out. Give them a window to shoot through. I'm out here. So now I can parry both hands, one right after the other. I want Chuck to aim here and try and touch me. Makes it easy. If he's really intent on hitting me, it actually makes it easier to parry. He can throw any order he wants. He can throw a double jab, he can throw a cross, okay? If I wanna move a little bit, make sure I don't get hit, or I can parry him. All right, he can throw 4 punches in a row, okay? It's easy to see him coming because I've got the timing out here, all right? Even if they throw him fast, it's pretty easy to just flick your wrists. For a person that's slower, this is a good way to deflect punches and not get hit. Continuing with using parries to attack when our opponent attacks. Really important to be able to do this. I can't expect, again, one punch to come at a time. So when our opponent throws, say for instance, a jab cross, all right, I want to be able to capitalize off that. When somebody throws a punch, they pull their hand away from their head. They make themselves vulnerable. You got to remember that. So I parry, boom, boom, boom. There's my jab cross hook. Parry, parry, pop, pop, pop. Okay, there's your punches. And I can throw anything I want at that point because I have the ability. He's opened himself up. So I want you to remember, I can go with this hand if I want to. I can go with this hand if I want to. Doesn't matter. It's my choosing. The more you practice this, the easier those decisions are going to be for you. So this is using parries and attacking when your opponent attacks you. Shut them down. Now we're going to work on rolling with punches. It's really important that if I can't get out of the way, that I can at least absorb some of the energy. I don't want to always stand straight like a statue and take the punch. I need to be able to absorb some of the power off of it. So say for instance a left hook is coming at me. When that hook hits, it's important that I roll with it sometimes and absorb the power from it. Notice how my hand goes up to the base of my skull. I don't want to turn and roll with a punch and get hit in the back of the head, all right? Obviously that makes it easy to get knocked out. If you ever take the palm heel of your hand and tap yourself in the back of your skull at the base of your skull, the room moves around a lot. It's easy to get knocked out that way. So when I see the hook coming and I want to roll with it, I'm just going to put my hand on the base of my skull, so when he punches my hand, I'm not going to get hurt. So he throws the hook, and I just lift and turn. All right? So that's basically the deflections on the rear side. Then you turn to the lead side, my lead side. If he throws a looping right, it's the same thing. I roll with it here, all right? Again, hand still on the base of the skull. I don't want to get hit in the back of the head and get knocked out. So I'm protecting myself. Also, when I do this, I'm turning and looking at you, talking to the camera. But when I do this, in essence, he throws that right hand and I block. I'm looking right over the top of my forearm where I can see my target. I should be smiling right now because I can see what I can do to him now that he's open. Same thing on the other side. When he throws his hook and I roll, I'm looking right over the top of my forearm like this, looking right at my target. Okay, so remember to do that. So he can throw, loop the left, loop the right, back and forth. Okay, go ahead, Chuck. And I just work on keeping my eyes on him the entire time, staying relaxed. So those are deflections, rolling with punches. Now we're going to use the rolling with punches that we learned earlier into attacking when our opponent attacks. A lot of people think of this as counters. That's basically what it is, but attacking when your opponent attacks is the way I like to think of it. So off the rolling with the left hook or the lead hook, remember, fundamentally, remembering that we've got to cover the back of our head, be able to see our opponent over our forearm. I mean, we don't want to turn our head, not see where he's at, throw a punch, he's not there anymore, and we miss him, and obviously they're hitting us. So I've got to see him the whole time. So he throws the hook, I roll with it, and I'm basically in this position. This hand's ready to go. Right when I roll, I'm looking at him over my forearm, and then I'm just going to rotate back and hit him with my hook. So he throws the hook, roll with it, I come right back, boom, and there's my hook. A lot of times they have no idea that's coming back at them. So I absorb here and comes right back into it. So we'll do it real quick. Boom, bam. And so the hook comes right back in. Obviously, I'm going to follow up now with a lot of techniques and try and keep him hurt. All right, rolling with punches. Remember, we just got done rolling with the left hook with his lead side and coming back with our lead side. Now we're dealing with the cross or the overhand right. This is, remember, if I'm dealing with a conventional style fighter. If this guy's a southpaw, for instance, go ahead and go southpaw, Chuck. Throw your jab. So I'm going to be rolling off of the jab, throw a hook. I'm protecting off of a hook. If he's a conventional fighter like I am, it's a straight right or it's a looping right. All right? Same angles of attack, basically. It just happens to be his rear side because he's a conventional stance fighter. All right, so same thing, cover the base of my skull. We already worked on that. If he happens to be throwing a straight right, I roll, and a lot of times it'll hit and slide off of my arm. Happens all the time. And then I'm throwing the right hand straight in over the top, like a looping type right. So he does it again. There's my deflection. And throw the right hand over the top. If it happens to be a looping right, I feel it hit. It's going to change my attack a little bit. I like to come back with the same angle of attack that my opponent hit me with a lot of times. So I'll even loop it out even more if I feel it bite, so I know it's a looping punch. So he loops it, so I come out more and bring it back. That counters kind of I'm meeting the exact angle of his attack with my attack, which causes more damage to him. So that's kind of what you want to remember to do with this. Continuing now, rolling with punches. I can use those to attack, remember, when my opponent attacks. So we're going to keep doing that, but now we're going to attack his lower body with kicks. When my opponent throws a hook, I not only can roll, come back with my own hook, but now I can attack his lower body. And I like to do this a lot because it really messes with people's heads, and it injures their legs, obviously, too. So the hook comes, it hits, I roll, and the kick hits at the same time. So you can see how that throws him off balance a little bit. He throws the hook, roll, hit with the kick. And then I'm going to follow up with whatever punches or kicks I'm going to go with after that. Again, here, there's the kick. I can come right back to this side or come back with my lead hook, whatever I want to do. Also remember, you have to be careful when you practice this. I'm going to tell you about it, and I'll mimic it a little bit. When the hook hits, you can see how my leg can go here, straight up to the head, all right? So he throws the hook, and the kick's just gonna follow straight up the back and go straight to the back of the head. All right, remember now, we have to roll on both sides depending on which side he's punching off of. So when the rear hand comes at me, and I wanna roll with that, same thing, and I'm absorbing the power so that I don't get hurt. If he throws a super hard overhand right and I try and stop it, okay, I've got to be careful about that, doing that all the time. That adds up. So now when he throws the overhand right and loops it in, I'm gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna step with this leg to help me fall away. All right, so he throws it, I roll with it. Now all I'm gonna do is, you notice how he has to take that step to throw that right hand. He does that. That gives me that opening to be able to land that inside kick on his leg. If you do this hard, a lot of times guys will just fall down. I'm not gonna do it hard right now, but he throws it, I step, and there's the kick. Throws it, roll with it, and there's the kick. So go ahead and do that. There's a specific rhythm you wanna have with that. I just go with the punch and hit. If he's going slow, I'm gonna go slow. If he goes a little quicker, I go a little quicker, all right? All right, now we're gonna go ahead and move to angles. Getting angles on your opponent, everybody talks about it, but really in fights, very few people understand it to the level where they can actually do it. When we do basic angles, simply stepping and moving off to the side, cutting small angles, I wanna do this whether I'm getting out of the way of his punch or right after one of my punches even, or off of even a fake. So getting angles is pretty easy overall. When I land a punch, if I turn his head this way, I don't want to move into his line of sight, all right? If I turn his head that way, obviously he doesn't see me right now. I just blasted him with a right hand, for instance. I take a step, when he looks straight ahead, I'm not there anymore, okay? So when he turns his head back and looks, I'm not there anymore, and that's when the next punch is coming, whatever I want to do to him. So it's basically the art of disappearing. So I throw the cross, turn his head, slide, and then I can hit him again because he looks where I was, not where I am now. All right, so that's a simple, off of 1-2. Throw my jab, cross, step, and I'm set up from a 45-degree angle. Remember, the 45-degree angles are important in every combative sport there is. He can't deal with punches. The human body's not made to take 45-degree angle punches, 45-degree angle takedowns. Just 45-degree angle attacks injure the human body. So that's where we want to be the whole time, not in front of him, off to a 45-degree angle. All right, now we're going to work on what's called the step and pivot. That's the ability to get the angle off your lead side, his rear side. All right, so that basically getting outside of that rear hand of his and his rear leg. What I like to do is I like to throw a hook off of this to get to that point and get that angle off of my lead side. I'll throw a hook, and then I just simply turn my chest and toe the same direction. I turn and lower my level, so if there's anything looping coming back, if he loops a punch, I'm protected on the outside. If I throw this and I step and he shoots a straight punch, I'm outside of that, so I'm safe. And then all I have to do is swing my back leg. You can see how I'm pointed towards him, he's not pointed towards me. It's important for me to now understand that I have to attack at this point. I don't want to be happy and just get away from him, unless it's a street situation where I just want to get away. But at this point,